And this is part 2 of The Blonde Stranger in the Creek, chapter 15, Loving Hearts. And I'll continue to speak on the aforementioned chapter. They had long and meaningful conversations between the previous and the next letter. It had been a year since the calls were that long, and it seems to comfort both the Princess of Cups and the Prince of Swords. They could both share in some of the detail and color that they had both wanted to. For November 15th, 2012 letter started as another Mad Lib letter. Who else does that besides the Princess of Cups? Even though she didn't write all that, it was clear that she had strong lust for the Prince of Swords. That is fine, since no desire in itself is evil and comes from something that can be used righteously. It was apparent that their meeting and initial conversations remained very special to her too. She missed his pet box turtles and thought it would be cute to dress them up. He thought that is bad enough when people do that to their cats and dogs. His letters were prized, as he treasured hers too. It seems she told them what he ultimately wants from her someday: a wife. They found him hard to understand at times, even through her, but she also conveyed some of which showed he was quite wise. When it got to her portion of the letter, Princess of Cups wanted another picture of him and had wished he was there to witness her little speech. She missed him and wanted to just humor them, while not taking offense at the way they wrote their lines. She wanted to know how people were reacting to the Prince of Swords in regard to her. The Princess of Cups wrote the Prince of Swords again on the 4th of November 2012. Music brought her comfort, and she wanted him to share in understanding what she listens to. He had already made a habit of looking at what she had mentioned or he heard in even the background of a phone call. She called him funny and super cute. She then admitted her doubt about wanting to only be friends. She liked his attention as he likes the attention she gives him. She wanted more of that. She wanted to see him again soon. Her mother had blocked him online, not understanding he is not like the others. Who does that with a grown woman who graduated high school years ago? The Prince of Swords hopes that someday the Princess of Cups will lead others to understand him more. Her November 29th letter in 2012 relates how their conversations were sorely missed. Things had ended in her recent relationship, and she felt that she could use a new term of endearment for him: loved of. Regret of that part of her past sunk deeper in. The Prince of Swords surely must have offered some comfort in that mistakes didn't have to be repeated, and there were ways to avoid the major sins. The Princess of Cups said in regard to some things he had been regularly writing, "They literally make me happier than anything else." She seemed accepting of the fact that he wouldn't agree with all she wanted from him towards her, or on his own. She wanted another picture of him. The Princess of Cups repeatedly told the Prince of Swords, that she loved him, but not before answering those 12 questions that he had not gotten all her answers to since 2007. And that's the last time I got all those answers from her. She seemed open to spending the sort of time with spiritual religious practice that it would take to say the 17 rakat of Salah in a night and a day. 3, 4, 2, 4, 4. But has probably never axed to learn it. She seemed open to the time it would take to attend the khutbah of Jummah, sermon of the Friday gathering at a mosque, or a worship service of similar length, but he knows of no service that she has attended beyond a funeral. She confessed that she should live her life in God's name, and that some things she had been doing were not fitting to be done religiously. Her concept of what divinity or God is was not distinct, but that is better than a lot of wrong ideas. Her idea of existence outside of the life of this body seemed to be the sort in fictional media forms, but there was a lot of truth in what she had to say. Buddhism, or what is called Hinduism, could be seen to be a major influence in her thought. The Prince of Swords would try to help the Princess of Cups in the good there. Hope and personal pleasure seemed to be her main motivations in life. The Princess of Cups saw the purpose of life in terms of relationship. The Prince of Swords found this wonderful as he saw it in terms of a relationship to God and his creation, or being religious. She didn't have a meaning for all that, but it was more than a start towards an experience of that. The Prince of Swords tries to have a balance of hope and fear, as well as love and hate, as motivations towards orthodoxy and orthopraxy. The December 12th and 16th letter of 2012 has the Princess of Cups writing the Prince of Swords to start with the code. Starts with code. It was an at-bash cipher that was done a little wrong in parts, so he didn't get to it till she said in her call. He appreciates the compliments he receives from her. That sort of thing is sort of an essential for both to do. She wanted to remind how she enjoyed his letters and how she wanted to visit with him. She wanted to know if he loved her more than other women. The Prince of Swords truly loved the Princess of Cups more than he loved any woman. She worried about things in the news and wondered about the end of the Mayan long count calendar, that December 21st or 23rd of that year. She wondered what his interpretation of those things were. She closed by expressing her love. At times, the Prince of Swords has felt and even thought that his love for the Princess of Cups was unrequited. That hasn't been true. It's more like unfulfilled. There might be a time where it can truly be fulfilled in righteousness. The 8th of January 2013 was when the Princess of Cups wrote the Prince of Swords again. She wrote him much less because she lacked the means. Her letters were more like normal talking, and her handwriting was much better. That alone proved she was getting better. She asserted that she deserved a person like him who would put her first. He would always put God and doing the right thing first. She mentioned others wanted the same sort of improvement. She told how She put family, me, and the few who are real friends first. I love you. Thanks for being around and there for me. And yes, you do make me feel special and loved. Your last few letters have talked more about your feelings. I like that a lot. She read what he shared of scripture and other matters. She didn't understand much of what he tried to convey. The Prince of Swords needed the Princess of Cups' help to give it the personal touch they used to share. She liked the stories and astrology things. The Princess of Cups let the Prince of Swords know she loved him and was thinking of him in closing. The Prince of Swords was the tarot nickname the Princess of Cups had given him in her January 9th, 2013 letter. He preferred to use the Scorpio as an air sign, Aquarius as a water sign, Taurus as a fire sign, Leo as an earth sign, and double up Mercury around the vernal equinox as the 10 and 2 of cups. He also thought the card should have the dark quarter of the solar year, Samhain, or winter, should be under the Princess of Disc and the Ace of Wands. The warming quarter, Imbolc, or spring, is under the Princess of Swords as the throne of the Ace of Swords. Likewise, the bright quarter, or summer, was under the Princess of Wands as the throne of the Ace of Wands. The cooling quarter, or fall, was under the Princess of Cups as the throne of the Ace of Cups. His birthday then would have him be a Fool, an Emperor, or the Tower, or a Six of Disc, or a Prince of Disc, or an Ace of Wands, or a Princess of Wands, a Prince of Disc, a Princess of Disc, or a Prince of Disc. Despite this, and the fact that the Prince of Disc fit him, she thought Prince of Swords was cuter and fit him too. Her birthday would then put her as the Hanged Woman, or the Tower, or the Chariot, or the Wheel of Fortune, or a Four of Cups, or a Queen of Cups, an Ace of Cups, or a Princess of Cups. In triplicity versions of astrology, he would be the Mercury deacon of Aries, and she would still be a Mars in Cancer, with Mars still on both sides of the spring equinox. Both of them had chosen nicknames based on good character rather than astrology. The Prince of Swords endowed her with the name Princess of Cups 5 years earlier. This letter by the Princess of Cups was cute and sharing-oriented. It did show a need to refine her media choices, as they were a remaining factor that would drag her down. The Princess of Cups thanked the Prince of Swords and others for still caring. Him and his father used to be Latter-day Saints and were now Muslim. She misunderstood the former as less, the latter as less American, misunderstood the former as less un-American and less, wait. She misunderstood the former as less American and as strict. He assured her that it was more open and free to thought and action of whatever material society and time than what he was 13 years before. So I should say the latter there. Islam was more liberating than restricting, and he made sure to remove her excuse for thinking that. She did think that it's better when people actually practice their faith. She spoke of him as someone who would help her be on the straight path and stay there. She wouldn't have to accept all the prophets to be upon enough of the orthodoxy and orthopraxy for him. The Prince of Swords would hope she doesn't forget that point. In return, she would help him with the style and sociability. Whoever becomes his wife would have to be at least such a partner in life, his helpmate. She wanted more information on astrological symbolism, and he feels it is a shame they haven't got the chance to talk about Comet Isom. He has offered to go see it with her, even though he hasn't been near her, despite her claims she would see him that February. Tuesday, the 15th of January 2013, was one in which I received a joint letter because I wrote her friend too. The Princess of Cups had shared some of the things which the Prince of Swords was trying to teach her. They were best friends at the time and talked with each other about improving their lives. Yes, it would take more than talking. She shared her answer to the 12 questions I asked the Princess of Cups in 2007. But this is not so much about her. He wrote her back, but is not sure if it was received. She is just one of several the Prince of Swords communicated with because of talking to the Princess of Cups. The Princess of Cups wrote the Prince of Swords on the 16th of January 2013, telling him how wonderful he is. She was sorry she was not able to write more, and how he thought she wasn't going to. She realized how much he loved her. She felt like she knew him well enough again. He could have quite the effect on her emotions as well. Emotional health was one of the things the Prince of Swords had always hoped and tried to benefit the Princess of Cups in. She was glad there wasn't another break point of letters. She said she'd try to write more often. There was a misunderstanding as to what she believed because of the fewer words. She knew people had free will, even extending to being able to direct one's personality. No astronomical arrangement could force one's hand or heart. He was glad to read this from her. She worries too much what others think about her. About other things. She wanted him to keep being sweet like you always are. She closed in requesting some information and saying she loved him. January 22nd is the next time the Princess of Cups wrote the Prince of Swords. She was pleased that he would see her soon. She was anxious to see him, but disappointed when it was one less than expected. She seemed more in control of herself than in a couple years then. He was happy to go through that effort for her, even though it was very difficult for him. It was for her benefit, not his. She seemed quite pleased and giddy to see him again. Even 6 years into their communication, things were fresh in a way. He had a dream before the Monday, the 11th of February encounter about their reuniting on a sunny day that he hopes will come true. The Princess of Cups asks on the 5th why the Prince of Swords didn't visit Monday, the 4th of February, 2013. He was told he could have arrived, but that arrived too late to go. She was a touch worried. It was time for her to go look for work again, but that has never made her too busy to call. She shared how she was learning tarot reading even without a deck. She offered to buy one of his old ones back in May of 2010. He was going to teach her how to do it without all the fortune-telling sort of stuff. He would be willing to give her an oracle deck of some sort if she wanted and didn't seem like she would misuse it. She urged him to visit again as he had on the 29th of January. She missed him. He would come again and provide her with a little for something for what she wants, as she requested for them too. She doesn't take her distance as a personal He doesn't take her distance as a personal insult, and regrets none of his efforts to comfort and uplift that soul. She'll remind him from time to time that feelings haven't gone between them, and even to the extent of her life as a whole. That feelings haven't subsided, but she isn't quite ready. He wonders how much longer she can procrastinate before chances are gone between them, and even to the extent of her life as a whole. He'll pray for her. Her next letter would be on the 23rd of June 2013. The Princess of Cups was pleased he was still write her and reminded him she still loved him. She and a friend liked how he would include fruit cartoon figures to symbolize the day the letter was sent. The Prince of Swords kept sending them, but decided to include dinosaur ones too. She was in worse shape than before, but he would bear with her as she wanted. Music comforted her, but he wished she would gravitate more towards the music of God. He would invite her towards that, and she seemed to become more open to the idea. But the time was not yet for her to read sacred texts or say songs and chants of worship. The Princess of Cups wrote the Prince of Swords on the 2nd of July in 2013. She wanted some of the basic details about him she forgot. She loved and missed him. She wanted to see him again. But that was an opportunity missed. She wanted him to start drawing for her again, and he would do that later that year. He doesn't know if she had the Princess of Tarot drawing for her in 2011, but he knew she liked them. He didn't want her to be bored, but he wanted her to use the opportunity to retrain her brain and develop skills. The Prince of Swords would hint or explain different ways for the Princess of Cups to do that. She wanted to do all the steps to set herself aright that time. She didn't, but he would always offer his help when she wants it. Qoor'aan 28:56 tells us, "Surely you can't guide from whoever you love, but God is the one who guides whom he wishes and knows of who is guided or guidable." The Prince of Swords doesn't remember when the Princess of Cups sent him a postcard in the summer of 2013. She said, "Change is uncomfortable, but with it comes growth. I'm working on myself and it feels great. My way of living was chaotic and I don't want to go back. Thanks for writing, I miss you." He continues to write her, hoping to be of even a temporary benefit. He hopes that the beneficial change will continue to the point where it becomes a force towards lifelong striving towards improvement. She called him around then and seemed unsure he'd know her by only voice. The Princess of Cups might not know that the Prince of Swords would recognize her voice if she was sick and older. Mostly what has come through from her has been a vague "what's up?" He feels like more and will attempt to leave things open for at least platonic sharing, for he knows it has all been an essential factor for future improvement or accomplishments. The fact that she would read and listen to what he had to say with the ever-presence of religious and spiritual contact as a sign of a soul that shows great potential. Part of the Princess of Cups surely can be better than people expect of her. Will the Prince of Swords be able to witness that part when the Prince of Swords doesn't really know how the themes of love bind for God will play out in his own life. He doesn't know how the themes of love as a verb or love as a noun will play out in either life. No matter what happens, he hopes that what they have shared of feeling and thought has and will be of great benefit to them. The Princess of Cups occasionally reminds him that things have been beneficial to her. Even without a friendship, they should know that their goals in life should be to have loving hearts. The 25th of the 11th month in 1434. Blessed be these lips, but all that has been let in is the tips of many words. Drop the 42 swords and pull out a rod. This is the day on which was laid the foundation of the house of God. Turning and facing the Lord and God, he'll continue prostrating and submitting his will, further acting on such the prince wishes not to shatter but fulfill. O Princess of Cups, what is your true will? He sets forth the tables of 2 and 8, offering a feast. Please tell me more of how you are at the very least. And the swords are the 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of swords or spades. That is sorrow, defeat, futility, interference, cruelty, and ruin. The rod is the ace of rods, or clubs, is the wand representing the primordial and natural will. House of God, Deuteronomy 33:2, when it says, Rabate Kadush, or the Lord's holy house. In modern scripture, the command to face this place called Bakka, or Mecca, Saudi Arabia, is shown in that verse, in that line. The command to use this as a prayer direction is found in Qoor'aan 2:144. The fulfill is, I say this in formation of Matthew 5:17 through 19, in which it points out Jesus came to restore the revealed laws to their original purity. I likewise seek not to come up with my own systems of right or wrong, but to follow the revelations of the prophets. My mission in life is to help myself and others be more complete. The 2 and 8 of discs, diamonds, or pentacles is meant here. The names of these cards are change and prudence. And my box of letters, I have a couple more items somewhere. I don't know where they are. And the Princess of Cups tarot card in this deck, and in another deck, having more details encoded right here. And these 2 paintings, and this painting will be available for sale for the right price.